I still remember the sound before I remember the words. Polished shoes scraping marble. A throat clearing behind me. That polite but sharp tone people use when they've already decided you don't belong. "Ma'am, I'm going to need you to step outside." I turned slowly, not because I didn't hear him, but because I wanted to be sure he was talking to me. The lobby around us looked like a magazine-spread glass walls catching the afternoon sun, a chandelier hanging like frozen lightning, people in tailored suits moving with the confidence of those who assume the world will make room for them. I was standing right in the middle of it. And apparently, that was the problem. "I'm sorry," I said. The man security, late 40s, jaw tight, like it had practiced saying no for decades, didn't blink. He looked past me, not at me. That was the first insult. "This area is reserved for guests and executives." I almost laughed. Almost. Instead, I felt that old familiar heat rise in my chest, the one I'd learned to keep under control a long time ago, the one that whispers, "Here we go again." I glanced down at myself. Simple blazer, flats, no logos, screaming for attention. I looked normal, and to some people that's the worst thing you can be. "I am a guest," I said calmly. He tilted his head the way people do when they're pretending to listen, but already planning how to end the conversation. "Then I'll need to see proof." I reached for my bag, but before my fingers even touched the zipper, he added, "And don't make this difficult." That's when I realized this wasn't about proof. This was about power, about who gets questioned and who doesn't. Around us, people slowed down. Not enough to help, just enough to watch. I could feel it, the judgment, the curiosity, the quiet relief that it wasn't happening to them. A couple near the elevators glanced at me, then away, like discomfort was contagious. I'd spent years in boardrooms negotiating deals that could change entire neighborhoods. I'd learned how to read silence, how to wait, how to let other people underestimate me because it made the endgame cleaner. So I did what I always do when someone mistakes my calm for weakness. I stayed calm. "I have a meeting," I said, "upstairs." He smiled. A real smile this time. "You and everyone else." That smile told me everything. He enjoyed this. For a second, just a second, I considered ending it right there, saying my name, making the call, watching the color drain from his face. But then something stopped me, because if I did that immediately, nothing would change. Not really. He'd apologize. Someone would blame a misunderstanding. Everyone would go back to assuming the next woman who looked like me didn't belong either. So I waited. He asked me to step aside. I didn't move. He asked again, louder. I could feel my pulse in my ears now, not fear, not anger, just that focused clarity that comes right before a storm. I thought about all the times I'd been talked over, all the rooms I'd walked into where people assumed I was the assistant, all the times I'd been patient because patience was safer. "This isn't personal," he said, lowering his voice like that made it better. "We just have standards." "Standards." I nodded slowly. "So do I." That confused him. Confusion is dangerous when someone's built their identity on certainty. A woman from the front desk came over. Sharp haircut, practiced smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Is there an issue?" "Yes," he said quickly. "She's refusing to leave." I turned to her. "I'm refusing to be treated like a problem." Her eyes flicked over me, quick and dismissive. "Ma'am, if you don't comply, we'll have to escalate this." Behind her, I noticed a man in a gray suit watching closely now, not filming, not whispering, just watching, the way people do when something doesn't quite add up. My phone buzzed in my bag. I didn't check it. I already knew who it was. The security guard stepped closer. Not touching me, not yet, but close enough to make a point. Last warning. That's when I felt it. Not humiliation anymore. Clarity. I reached into my bag slowly, deliberately, and pulled out my phone. Not to record, not to threaten, to answer. "Where are you?" the voice on the other end asked, tight with concern. I looked the guard in the eye for the first time. Really looked at him. "I'm downstairs," I said. "I'll be a few minutes late." The man in the gray suit froze. He took a step forward. "I'm sorry," he said carefully. "Did you say you're late?" "Yes," I replied, still calm. "For my meeting." "With," he prompted. I gave him my name. The change was immediate. Subtle but unmistakable. His shoulders straightened. His face drained of color. He turned to the security guard. "You should step back." What the guard snapped. "Sir, this woman, she's the reason we're all here today." Silence dropped over the lobby like a held breath. The front desk woman stared at her screen, fingers flying. Her face went pale. I didn't say a word. That's the thing about truth. Once it enters the room, it doesn't need help. The guard looked between us, confused, angry, scared. This is some kind of joke. It isn't, the man in the suit said quietly. She owns the company that owns this building. I could hear the blood rushing in my ears now. Not from fear, from release. The guard's mouth opened, closed. He looked at me again, really looked this time, and I saw it land. The realization, the shame. I didn't know, he muttered. I tilted my head slightly. You didn't ask. No yelling, no victory speech, just that sentence hanging there. People around us suddenly found reasons to look busy. The lobby felt smaller, tighter, like the walls had leaned in to listen. I need your badge, I said to him evenly, and I need HR notified, immediately. His hands shook as he unclipped it. I didn't enjoy that part. I want that to be clear. Power used for humiliation rots from the inside. I've seen it. What I did enjoy quietly was knowing I hadn't lost myself trying to be heard. As I walked toward the elevators, conversations resumed in whispers. Eyes followed me now, full of something different. Respect, maybe. Or regret. The door slid shut. The lobby disappeared. Upstairs, the meeting waited. Contracts, numbers, decisions that would ripple outward in ways no one downstairs would ever see. But as the elevator rose, I caught my reflection in the glass. Same woman, same clothes, same calm. The only thing that had changed was who believed I belonged. And here's the part that still sits with me, the part I think about more than the confrontation itself. Nothing about me changed in those 15 minutes. Not my intelligence, not my authority, not my worth. Only their perception did. So I'll ask you this and really think about it before you answer. Do you believe people respect success? Or do they only respect it once it looks like something they recognize?